Hello, my name is Babette. Welcome to Lesson 7 of Babette's Guide to Rhythm. This lesson is just a continuation of Lesson 6. There's no new material here. The only difference now is that with these practice exercises, the metronome sound you hear will not be subdividing. It's just going to be right on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I don't have to waste any more of your time. Let's begin. Before we start, I want to talk about one little thing. In the previous lessons, the metronome was subdividing. You heard the click for every eighth note, and we're not going to do that in this lesson. Now you're going to only hear the click for the quarter note, like this. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't subdivide in your mind. In fact, you should. In your mind, with your feet, hands, however you want to subdivide, so that you can place the eighth notes precisely where they belong. And that includes the quarter note rests and the eighth note rests. So when you are listening for those 8 beats at the beginning, this is how you should do it. T, 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 T. Okay? Now, remember to do that at the beginning. And now it's time for a deep breath and begin. How did that work for you? Did you get it? I hope so, because in this lesson, I'm only putting the single note exercises with the metronome markings of 60. Now we're going to change notes with our metronome marking of 60. Remember to count off 8 beats and feel the pulse and subdivide. It's time for a deep breath and begin. This will be at a metronome marking of 92. Remember to count off your 8 beats when the metronome begins to establish the pulse and to subdivide. Now it's time for a deep breath and begin. Now we'll begin with the metronome marking of 120. Remember to count off your 8 beats, subdivide. Now let's take a deep breath and begin. Now we'll begin exercise 2, and again, the metronome marking of 60 is the only one that will have the single notes. In this exercise, we see the single 8th note. Sometimes it's on the first half of the beat, and other times it's on the second half of the beat. What you really need to be doing with these exercises is, even though the metronome is not clicking subdivided, you should be doing that in your head. Here's an example. We'll start with the click of the metronome, and what I'm saying is what you should be doing in your head. T, 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 T. So you should always be thinking subdivided so that you will have the precise placement of the 8th note and the 8th note rest. Don't forget to count off 8 beats before you begin. Now it's time for a deep breath and begin. Now we're going to repeat the same rhythm pattern at a metronome marking of 60, but this time we're going to be changing notes. Don't forget to subdivide when you count off your 8 beats when the metronome starts, and continue subdividing throughout the exercise. Now it's time to take a deep breath and begin. Again, we're repeating the rhythm pattern, this time at a metronome marking of 92. Don't forget to subdivide when you count off your 8 beats when the metronome starts. Let's take a deep breath and begin. We'll end exercise 2 with a metronome marking of 120. Please subdivide when you count off your 8 beats. It's time to take a deep breath and begin. I hope you subdivided in exercise 2, because now that we've reached exercise 3, it's even more important because there are 2 eighth note rests in each measure. So when the metronome starts and you count off your 8 beats, you need to be subdividing when you hear those 8 beats and throughout the exercise. Now it's time for a deep breath and begin. Okay, this is the same rhythm pattern, but we're changing notes. Subdivide when the metronome begins and you're counting off your 8 beats. It's time for a deep breath and begin. We'll now repeat the rhythm pattern at a metronome marking of 92. Don't forget to subdivide, starting when you count off your 8 beats and throughout the exercise. Let's take a deep breath and begin. And we'll finish up exercise 3 with the metronome marking of 120. Please don't forget to subdivide as you start counting off your 8 beats when the metronome starts. It's time now for a deep breath and begin. Thank you for following along with me in this exercise. 7B is up next. Until then, we'll see you. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.